So, ladies and gentlemen,
welcome to Riga, where the home team Latvia is gearing up for their first game of the Olympic qualifying tournament against Georgia. It's Julian Montesano and Mark Clark joining you from Arena Riga. Mark, the crowd has come out in a big way for the game. The arena looks fantastic. All eyes on these two teams. They open up Group A proceedings tonight.
Well, ever since the World Cup, I think Riga's been waiting for this opportunity to, okay, there was the competition windows in February, but they've been waiting to say something to this team. This team has excited the country. Coach Benke has taken his team to the unique opportunity for them to make the Olympic Games, and the arena is a sellout. The country wants it, but in their way is a very, very good Georgian lineup. And this is going to be a tough opening night. There's always that pressure of being the host.
Absolutely.
That can become a weight on your shoulders. Let's hope it becomes something that lifts them, not weighs them down.
So we just welcome Team Georgia, the 23rd ranked team in the world. They've never been to an Olympic Games, but Latvia, they haven't been to an Olympic Games in 88 years. They're ranked 6th in the world, as you mentioned, after that stunning World Cup run last year, Mark. They come in as one of the most informed teams of the tournament, and by the end of the week, they'll be hoping that they can book their ticket to Paris.
Oh, well, you know, it's not only did they get that World Cup spot, they then carried it on in the Eurobasket qualifiers. They beat Spain in Spain for the first time ever. I think this crowd believes they can beat anybody. The way they played in Jakarta and in the Philippines, they think they can beat anybody too. But they have some issues, they have some injuries. We can talk about that more right after the national anthems. But this is not a plain sailing game for them at all.
This is the national anthems now of Georgia and Latvia.
And we're going to start with the national anthem of Georgia. Sastāv spēlētāji goris, tā kā visi cik vien skaļi. Dievs svētī.
Goosebumps, I don't know what will. A whole arena join in one voice, singing the national anthem. As you mentioned, Mark, they've been waiting to see their team back on their home floor. As both teams come in and exchange gifts. It must be said, there's a few Georgian fans in the house as well, which is great to see. So it should be a great atmosphere here tonight. We're really looking forward to seeing what these two teams can put out.
Oh, we're going to get a look at the lineups, but let's not forget Georgia, since they made their first Eurobasket after they were competing, have always made a Eurobasket. They're a strong, really competitive team, and okay, their issue is they've only got 4 players returning from the World Cup, 5 players from the Eurobasket qualified, a lot of injuries, a lot of issues. Ronike Songalia, we've seen him missing practice, don't know how much he's going to play today. They're keeping that stuff a little bit close to the chest, should we say, but they've still got a really strong front line. I mean, their ability up front is unquestionable. But Zadze, he is just exploding onto the world scene, as is Mamu Kelashvili. They've got size up front. Their issue is, can they deal with the fluidity, speed, and can they be effective from the perimeter?
And the crowd in the house, I'm loving that headwear, both from everyone in the crowd. We love the flowers, we love the ring, it's all pretty cool. We're going to take a closer look at this Georgian team, Mark, and the man on screen, Shengelia, you mentioned, we haven't seen him do as much practice probably as he would have liked. And we'll check out their starting five, because I reckon there's a chance he might not be in it, which would be massive news for this Georgian team. But we know how strong they are, we know how capable they are, and we know how much potential they have after that 16th place finish in the first World Cup. But let's welcome in today's referees. From Mexico, we have Omar Bermudez Maraskil. From Poland, we have Wojciech Liszka. And from Spain, we have Luis Castillo. So referees, of course, have a lot ahead of them in tonight's game, and we sense there'll be a few high intense moments between these two teams. They're putting it all on the line in this second game of the Olympic qualifying tournament. Of course, we saw earlier Brazil get the job done over Montenegro. We're going to take a closer look at the Latvian team now, Mark, and their starting five coming up on your screen is Kuruc, Medes, Bertens, Smits and Chagas. A really strong starting five.
And Chagas in the lineup after his performance in the World Cup, but he's been injured for most of the year. He has come back. I think Kuruc has had a phenomenal season, and I think is becoming the real leader. Davis Bertans as their key player won't start, comes off the bench, gives them punch, and don't forget, he was 1 3-pointer away from taking the team into the top 4 in the world, had a shot at the 3 against Germany, and almost knocked it down, and that fairy tale would have continued on. There'll be a large number of these fans that were in Jakarta. They turned it into a little Latvia for that tournament. Absolutely phenomenal crowd, and we'll see how strong and how much they support this lineup. This Georgian team, though, is big, as we've said, up front. But Joe Thomason has got to have a game. I mean, I think he's EuroLeague quality player, has all the right parts of his game that can really help. He's going to have to play big minutes, big scoring, just to keep Latvia honest at the defensive end. If he doesn't score, then it's going to be a long night for the bigs. They won't see the ball. Shengelia is down as the key player. If he plays, he's huge. If he doesn't play, it's a big gap to fill, but at least they have real quality up front to fill it. My concern is how effective they're going to be in the backcourt.
He's certainly a difference maker, is Toko Shengelia. And we see the Georgian team get their final words from Coach Djikic. He's had a big week. Alexander Djikic has been coaching the team very strongly in practice. And equally, Coach Bunky, he's got full focus and full trust in his team. As we count down to tip off, a minute to go on the Tissot clock. And anticipation is building up between this game, between the 23rd ranked team in the world in Georgia and the 6th ranked team in Latvia. But what a story Luka Bunky is. Hasn't coached out of Italy until 2018, 2021, he gets his first job as the national team coach. And then you've got Alexander Djikic. We know his success internationally. He's taken over as the Georgian head coach in January. He's got a lot of expectation ahead of him. There's as much pressure on the players as there is on the coaches. It's a massive game. He must win at the start. There's only 2 round-robin games, then you've got semi-finals, the final, 1 ticket to Paris. It's a cutthroat tournament.
Well, and that may be the Shengelia thinking, you know, they've got to win one of these 2 games to make the semi. If he is carrying an injury, perhaps 24 hours may help him. But we'll worry about that when we see if he plays or not.
So ready to go in a sold-out Arena Riga here in Latvia. Welcome to Arena Riga in Latvia. It's the home nation going up against Georgia in the second game of this Riga Olympic qualifying tournament. And you can hear the atmosphere, you can hear the drums, you can hear the crowd getting behind their team, but Mamu Kelashvili silences them early.
Well, Mamu Kelashvili just took it straight out, and that's what I think they've got to do, use that size, get to the ring and challenge that Latvian defense.
Here's Chagas. Whistle blown in the middle of it all. We couldn't hear it, mind you, in this stadium, but the whistle did come. It's an incredible atmosphere.
When you are Georgia, you're looking at where you have advantage. Obviously, they have that size advantage. If they can control tempo and be aggressive, they really could give Latvia some issues. They're going to ask them a question here.
Oh, this will be big. Schmitz can't put it down. Vitadze with the rebound, and Thomason. The need for him to have a big game, as you mentioned, Mark. Here he goes now, looking for an option. Andronikashvili. Oh, it comes out of the hands, and Schmitz can get Latvia on the board. Big start from Roland Schmitz.
Schmitz wanted to throw that down, didn't he? Disappointed he didn't have the chance to really get the crowd up. Georgia have got to space the floor better than they just did. They've really got to try and stretch the Latvian defense.
Thomason trying to spin around Bertans. Can't put off the tough shot. Good D there from Latvia. And allow Žagas to go. Bertans for three, knocks it down!
Captain stepping up, gets his feet set. He plays a lot more at the two with his team, with his lineup, with the three-guard set. If he's on shooting-wise, he is absolutely lethal from deep.
And the momentum at the moment with Latvia as a foul is called. It's exactly what Bertans was brought into the team for, but as is Roland Schmitz with that takeaway, popping it in. They have so many options. There's been all this talk about there's no Porzingis, there's no Gazoulis, this, that, but so much firepower on the court right now for them.
They almost seem to thrive on the adversity of dealing with those problems. If you think back to the World Cup, Bertans only played the one of the big games. Porzingis couldn't play, Strelnic couldn't play, and their leading scorer in the qualifiers, who's here with the team now, Ricard Lomash, he couldn't play either. So it's almost that adversity, and they're so interchangeable. Their style, everyone fits in and performs their role.
Yes, both teams have that similar mindset too, and Georgia will probably have to try and do that tonight without Shengelia. And channel a bit of their opposition spirit in a way.
Georgia have just got to be the spoilers here. They've got to actually spoil the game for the crowd in some ways. Make it a little scrappy, make it low scoring. You know, they've got to control the glass. All those little things their size should enable them to do. But they've got to do a little bit more away from the ball at the offensive end.
Schmitz finds himself free again. Žagas trying to get away from Andronikashvili. And Vitadze with the steal. Mamukulashvili can get going now. It's exactly the hands you want it in if you're a Georgian fan.
Not a bad backcourt really, 2'11 and 2'12. You can play some interesting things with that size.
Mamukulashvili couldn't get that one to go this time. It allows Bertans to give it to Žagas. He's able to slow things down. Pulls up for a triple. Can't knock it down.
Judith, one of the things that came out of the prep, that they've shot the ball poorly in the two games. They're only warm-up games, way under 30%. When you consider they made more threes in a World Cup than any team since the 1990s, it's a major part of what they do, and if they can't knock down the three, then they keep Georgia in the game.
And we know how powerful Georgia is in the paint, as you mentioned, with the likes of Mamukulashvili, Vitadze. Two big guys, NBA experience for both of them. It's two very different games playing out in front of our eyes.
Well, there's an example. They just simply cannot let Latvia just scrap around, keep it alive, get possessions on the glass. As long as they're active, they've got so much size, so much ability to protect the ring. They've just got to own the backboard. No second chance opportunities, or minimal second chance opportunities for Latvia is what Georgia have got to make happen.
Kuruc for three. It's a party here already.
And that's Latvian basketball, right? Take it inside, draw the defense, let them collapse, throw it to the wide open shooter who knocks it down.
Andronikashvili hit a crucial basket just before that. What can he do now? Vitadze, double teamed. Andronikashvili driving against Jagas.
Called the foul. Strong move though, he stayed with the play through the contact and has got himself to the free throw line. If they can get deep on the shot clock like this and end up with the advantage creating the contact, that's got to be there. One of the ways they can stay in the game.
So Rati Andronikashvili at the line. Plays in Spain at the moment with Kazadamont, Zaragoza. His 7th year of playing with the Georgia national team. Averaged just under 6.5 points per game at the World Cup too. Great role player for this team. And he's got it all to contend with at the moment. Shooting these free throws, misses both. You can't be having that against this Latvian team.
They've almost got to play that as perfect as you can play Georgia here.
Bertans. Schmitz has had a really nice start to this game. Getting around Kosantia. And again, a second chance point perhaps coming up for Schmitz. Gets his own rebound, and this time he makes it.
Oh, Rowan Schmitz has been doing that his whole career. His ability to outwork an opponent. You know, he's not the biggest power forward in European and world basketball, but he makes space. And he stays with the play just as he did then. Would not be denied.
Really great hustle there from Schmitz. Vitadze took a bit of a hit to the head there, so wasn't able to inbound the ball, but he's still on the court. Thomason instead will take the duties for Georgia, down by 6 at the moment. It's been a good start for Latvia. What can Andronikashvili do to respond? To the sound of the drums. Kosantia. Kurt's able to claim the rebound. This time pushes the pace. Just loses out. Luckily he had some help there. Jagas. Maidis. Feeds Kurtz. Can't break it in. Maidis, good hustle again. Offensive rebounding by Latvia is superb. Bertans loves the corner. Can't knock it down this time. And Mamukelashvili fouled on the rebound.
It's a very black and white thing for me. Georgia can't get outworked on the glass, can't give second and third shot opportunities. And on every one of those last phases of play, they had inside position. They had every right to just clean up on the glass, clean up the mess. They just got outworked. In front of this crowd, they've got to make some statements physically on the glass. One and done, it's got to be for Latvia.
So a few changes for both teams as well. Davis Bertans onto the floor. Klaus Chavas joins him in there too. Ochkikidze comes on for Georgia. See if he can bring the energy.
Well, you know, he's only 20 years old. He's got decent size at the point. Had some good input and impact in the qualifiers, and he's just what an opportunity for him at 20. Chance to make a name almost. Wow, what a move.
Oh, Mamukelashvili, that is superb. He's going to have to be the one. Without Shengelia, we suspect, or at least some limited minutes. A massive presence for this Georgia team. Chavas for Latvia. To Jagas. Might have to go himself. Oh, beautiful time! And Chavas is happy to finish that one off.
And that's why Jagas did have those 17 assists in one game, like a World Cup record, but no defense from Georgia at all in terms of helping anybody out.
They get a bit of an offensive rebound here too. Kosantia just swarmed by Latvian players under the rim there. Had nowhere to go. Jagas Too many bodies to contend with. And again, we're going to have some subs come into the game. Jargas is going to come off and take a seat. A nice start to the game, considering he's coming back from a knee injury. As is Lomash now, onto the floor in his place.
Crazy thing for Georgia now is that Strelniks and Lomash have been the most effective offensive players in the preparation game. So, you know, they're just relentless in the way they come in. It's a wave after wave of player, no style change. They just are relentless in the way they attack the game.
Kalashvili fouled.
Keeping him in the game, right? Kalashvili is the only guy who appears to really go hard. He either scores or gets fouled. I mean, he is obviously an NBA player with Spurs. He spent a lot of his time growing up in the States in terms of being at college, but 12.8 points. Yeah, he was good in the World Cup. So he's, at some point, Shengelia is not going to be there. These guys have got to step into the role now.
He knocks down the first free throw, does Mamul Kalashvili. Averaged 12.8 points per game at the World Cup, 6 rebounds, averaging a double-double at Eurobasket as well. This is the second. Strelniks now for Latvia. See Janis Timo on the floor. Bertans. Timo getting involved there on the boards, but it gets cut off by Thomason, and he uses his pace, but can't complete the basket. Great hustle there by Pivadze, I should say.
Thomason has got to have the impact. Super defensive play. Got to finish it. What a follow. So it was just incredible the way he got down the floor.
For Strelniks, it ends up with Bertans. Just falls out.
At some point, Davis Bertans is going to get hot again. I think he had a horrible 2 games. 0 for 8 in one and 2 for 10 in the other. So he's too good a player to keep missing.
Speaking of good players, Thomason gets it to Mamul Kalashvili for 3. Strelniks to Lomash. He tries to push the pace now. Pulls back. Just not going in at either end at the moment. Coach Bunky encouraging his team on the bench. Of course, he coaches Lomash and Shengelia with Bologna, so a few familiar faces on the floor. There's going to be a sub for Georgia now. Sanadze into the game for Thomason. Georgia down by 3. See the field goal percentage, 4 from 11 for Georgia and 5 from 16 for Latvia. So not quite the hot start the two teams are after. They're taking the shots, that's for sure.
Well, I think what Georgia have managed to do is, if you can ever speed up Latvia, is to get Latvia out of the rhythm. We saw Bozic walk through things this morning at practice, and he absolutely implored his team. If you allow Latvia to run their motion type offense, their flow offense, you will just get beat. If you don't if you don't take them out of it, they run it better than anyone in Europe, is his view. And they are taking them out of it. They've made it a little scrappy. There's no flow to what they're trying to run, and hence they're taking shots they don't really want to take.
That pass cut off there.
Down the other end, it's not much better for Georgia in terms of they're the opposite. They're very static at the moment. And apart from Mamul Kalashvili, no one's really been productive in what they're making happen. But they're only 3 down. They would take a 12-9 scoreline.
Pivadze can equal the scores, not quite. Lomash confronted by Oshkikidze. Oh, the basket drops.
That's a good foul though by Oshkikidze. Although he's given up the 2 free throws because they came up with a couple of bad fouls, like pointless fouls early on. Do not want to get Latvia getting into their rhythm of running, passing, and taking open looks.
So Rihaz Lomash at the line, as I mentioned, plays for Bologna at the moment. He's a key cog in this Latvian squad. One of the best performers, as you mentioned, in the practice games, Mark.
Well, that, and he's a big scorer in their World Cup qualifiers that got them to the Philippines and Indonesia and Japan.
So a sub for Georgia. Jin Charadze is going to come on for his first minutes, and Mamo Kalashvili is going to take a seat.
Right, looks like Coach Gigic is going to give him the minute 19 plus the quarter break and maybe a little bit more in the second quarter, but expect he's going to play big minutes today.
Ojkikidze, the young point guard. Sanadze steps back on Lomash. Couldn't make the tough shot.
It's great defense from Lomash, isn't it? Didn't get turned. You're going to make a shot, make it over me.
Strelnieks now to Lomash. Been really impactful in his minutes. Can't knock down the triple. Ojkikidze comes away with it. Pevadze, nice finish there.
And they're hanging around. Okay, Latvia are missing shots you'd expect them to make, but as we saw in the first game, if you hang around, give yourself a chance. Exactly as Brazil did, came back from 13 down in game 1. Super pass.
Oh, Chavas, a bit too much heat on it. It allows Jin Charadze to use his pace and get Georgia back-to-back baskets. They're more than hanging around, they are in this. Lomash! Beats the buzzer! Exactly what Latvia needed. They haven't been hitting too many shots in this first term, but Rihaz Lomash, bang! Nothing but net there. Wanted the foul call as well, but he's got the big triple to end a really entertaining first quarter, where it's Latvia 17, leading Georgia 13.
Well, if you just looked at the score and you were Georgia or you're a Georgia fan, you go, okay, it's under 20, we've kept them to the numbers we'd like to keep them to. But if you'd have seen the game, you'll be even a little bit more frustrated, because 33 and 27% for Latvia. Field goal percentages are just so far down on their expectation. But that's a little bit reflective of how they've been in preparation. They've just not found their rhythm. And if you take away the points they've got off their defense, they are really struggling to function. And you take the last 3 was the toughest. They've taken is the only one that really made, apart from the early Bertans one. So sometimes I wonder, they're going to get through the first game. The expectation, the pressure, they're not really in rhythm. Their ball movement, the ball sticks a little bit. Some of that's down to Georgia, but most of it's down to them. We've seen them practice. They look really on point in practice. I'm sure they'll work this one out. But Coach Gigic will be happy. Kept it to under 20. Missed a couple of bunnies as well down that end. So he's in the game, and that's all he needs to be. Whether he wins or loses this, get in the game and then prepare, win your second game, get to a semi-final. Could be one of the outcomes, especially when Shengelia looks like he may not play.
Courtside 1891 app is your go-to for streams, schedules and scores, not just for this Olympic qualifying tournament, but the others around the world, in Greece, in Spain, in Puerto Rico. 4 tickets to Paris from 4 Olympic qualifying tournaments. 1 ticket from this Latvia group. Georgia and Latvia doing battle here in Arena Riga. It's sold out, Arena Riga, mind you, as well. They're bringing the energy, they're bringing the noise. And the second period is tipped off. It is Latvia with a 4-point lead over Georgia at the moment. They're going to share it around the top. Strelnieks now next to go. Manis in the corner. This would be a great start.
And that's That's exactly what Coach Gizic was talking about earlier on. Yeah, they moved the ball, ran the ball in rhythm, everyone moved, got the timing right, wide open three with time to take it. That's exactly what he was talking about. You let them run that, they're better than anyone in Europe.
Sanadze, Jincharadze just grabbed the pass, driving through. And a nice drive in the end. It got called a foul. Timon was the one that committed it. And Bitadze, a quick sub for Georgia. A nice, interesting move at the start from Coach Djikic.
I can't believe that Goga, Bitadze, and Mamu Kelashvili aren't going to play real big minutes. If they've got any aspiration to win this game, they have to get into the way up into the high 20s, over 30 perhaps, unless the game gets away from them.
Jincharadze at the free throw line, playing a guitar at the moment. Averaged just under 4 points and also the 4 rebounds at the World Cup. And you can hear the noise as he tries to make these free throws, and the crowd is really impacting them from the stripe. They need every point, every chance they can take against this Latvian team. Bertans finds himself open and knocks it down! They're hot now!
He's made one. Don't be surprised if he just follows that in with 2, 3, 4, because they gave him a little time there. Got his feet set, knocked it down. Little pick and pop action. They're now putting the movement of the basketball on the floor.
5 triples already for Latvia. Georgia yet to hit one. Bitadze couldn't quite collect it, and it's a Latvian ball. Just like that, it's out to a 10-point lead for the home team, and there's the sub that we wanted. Mamu Kelashvili coming onto the floor, and Androni Kashvili is also a good move too. They can't afford to leak out any more points.
That's all. It's all very coming back away from home because this is a home crowd and everything. And once Latvia get into their rhythm, it's a long, long way back. But again, we talked about it, the bench impact. We saw it with Brazil, we're now seeing it with Latvia. The guys coming off the bench played well in prep. They're giving Latvia that extra bonus and extra energy as they come in.
Androni Kashvili wants some company. Might have to go on his own here. Androni Kashvili gets it back. Mamu Kelashvili thinks about it, then drives in. It just falls short. And this won't count here, a foul.
And they've got the foul, but the scramble by Latvia defensively, that's again the other part of it. They're forcing you to make a play yourself because they scramble on help. They speed you up, they make you take a shot you don't practice. It's just it's a team thing that Coach Benke has put on the floor of these guys. They've got the right mentality anyway. Timmer's going to have to leave with his second foul.
And Artur Strautins will take his place.
So much like for like. It's like everybody's the same. It's a tremendous team that Latvia have.
Such an even spread of scorers, even spread of assist providers. They don't care who the star player is, you know?
And then their defense, the way they scramble, forces that. Forces you to speed up, forces you to try and make a play. And yet another turnover for Georgia. And the backs are to the wall right now. They have to find a way of digging into this game. Might have to look at changing their defense up. Because if they carry on like this, Latvia are going to get shots they want.
Odd bounce pass from Strolix, but it works out. Bertans, can he go 2 from 2? Absolutely! And no surprise to see a timeout call because Davis Bertans is hot. 26 plays 13, 7 minutes left in this second period. Coach Djikic just got a bit of thinking to do in this huddle.
Yeah, body language doesn't look too good, but it'll be interesting to hear Coach see how he tries to lift this group.
Take a listen.
What are targets? Why we don't attack
Un piesakies izlozē. Aplikācijās vietas konkursumā nevar piesakies, un tas ir arī viss tieši tik vienkārši. Tas vēlāk, kā jau teicu, Rīga izlozē varēs pieteikties līdz 4. ceturtdaļas sākumā. Tie būs redzami lielā ekrānā vai arī skaties savā aplikācijā. Vai tavs mans Rīga kādas numurs ir mainītājs sarakstā. Neskatīt gadījumā uzlaitā var doties uz Rīgas. Visu izskaidros, bet tagad gādākais daudzi. Telefons liekam kabatiņās, galviņas augšā un atpakaļ pie atbalstīšanas, jo tikai kopā mēs esam spēks.
Take a look at this bit of form here from Latvia. They're really starting to fire now. They got off to a slow start in the first term, but all of a sudden, everything they touch, every time they step back, they're knocking it down, and the crowd are getting right behind them. Davis Bertans has been one of the orchestrators of this. 6 points, 2 from 4 from long range.
Well, a 9-0 start to the period, 3 threes. Latvia basketball back, normal services restored. The crowd are happy. What Georgia have to do now is just change the rhythm of the game. Come up with a different question to ask Latvia.
Thomason's a good move, back on the floor. Pavadze, shot gets blocked. Bitadze couldn't slam it, but gets the foul. Well, that's what Bitadze's going to need to do. He's going to need to just take some contact, drive in hard.
And that's key. They can't shy away from that type of pressure. Take it past that pressure if they possibly can. And then compete on the glass. Because they're not getting anything out of the actions they're running on the perimeter, because Latvia will either switch it or they'll bump it and slow down the cut as they come off the screen. And they just take you out of what you're trying to run, unless you really can take it deep in the shot clock and then run into the shot clock.
So Bitadze currently with the Orlando Magic in the NBA. Knocks down both of those free throws crucially. And we're going to see a sub for Team Latvia. Roland Schmitz back onto the floor. Had a really fantastic start to the game. See if he can carry on his form here in this second period. Strelcic will inbound from the baseline to Strelnieks. Latvia up by 11. Bertans, can he knock it down his third? Of course he can! Davis Bertans is feeling it here at Arena Riga.
He doesn't really come and set the screen. He just calm and almost ghosts it, and then literally just flares. And the defense can't get caught up with the screen. It's like money in the bank if they give him that much time.
A good settler there from Thomason, but it's in the right hands for Latvia. Bertans, oh, but he turns it over. Very uncharacteristic. And Johnny Kashvili gets fouled.
They should count.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure he was the one that made it. I think it was sort of tipped in, but
that's what I think that's what they were trying to talk about as the officials, but
I don't think Mamo Kalashvili touched it.
He left it alone.
Johnny Kashvili celebrating, so he should. But anyway, after all that, we're going to have a timeout. It's Latvia by 10. 6 minutes left in the second period. They found their hot hands and their shooting form. Very interesting to see what Coach Bunky has to tell his team. And we're going to go in very shortly and have a listen to his message.
But we don't want to give. That's the gift. So we attack the ball. Like that. Just in case he won the basket.
Brīnišķīgi. Nu, par šī patrauma laikā es aicināšu pārsēm meitenes izmest skatītājiem tikai 2 tēmekļus. Šie tēmekļi ir jūsu ieejas biļete uz Samsung konkursu, tātad draugi, kurā galvenā balva ir mobilais telefons. Tā mēs redzam, viens ir saņemts.
All the emotions of the game so far here in Riga. The home crowd getting behind the home team. They felt the pressure a bit early, weren't quite in their rhythm, but boy, have they found it. Coach Bunky must have had a really solid message at the end of the first period, and they found their hot hand. They're nailing everything at the moment.
I think the important thing to always stress about Coach Bunky in this group is that they don't change their philosophy. And he's so good at holding them accountable for executing what they're supposed to do, sharing the ball, taking responsibility. And that's all he did there. They got a bit sloppy, so he brings them in and reminds them, don't be sloppy. We saw him prepare. They were very, very much all on the same page. So it's important now for Georgia to keep ticking the scoreboard over, to try and keep it in single digits so they can go into the half in touch. If they go in 15 down, it's a long, long way back. This 6 minutes of the second quarter crucial for how the game might pan out.
Bertan's brothers share it. Davis on for his first minutes of the second period. Schmitz now cops a bit of contact, and eventually the referee blows the whistle.
Number 35, second personal call.
It's become a very physical game already. 4 fouls for Latvia at the moment. And in the first period, it was Georgia who had heaps of fouls as well. So it's been both teams. Strelnieks. Bertans to Davis Bertans. Oh, the crowd are getting up.
You know, I don't think he ever doesn't feel it. But you know he's really feeling it when he does that. Catches, he's almost leaning back. He always, like any good shooter, thinks he's going to make every single shot.
He's getting dragged for that miss, it seems. No, he's been excellent so far. Davis Bertans, 9 points, 3 triples. And Artur Žagas is going to come on for his first minutes of the second period as well. Strelnieks will take a seat. So Coach Bunky utilising every bit of his bench. I think Zonics is the only one who hasn't come on yet. Opposite story for Georgia, no Shengelia at the moment. Pevadze, that one just goes over. Staltic, Žagas, Maidis. Gets it back from Bertans. Oh, beautiful dish to Staltic. They're looking good at the moment. They're looking very good. Georgia have to do something very quick. Big 5 minutes coming up for them. Mama Kulashvili's been pretty quiet. Can he get it here and ignite a spark? No, instead he collides into the defense.
And you've just seen both ends of the floor. What makes this team what it is. Brilliant, excellent, absolutely amazing ball movement and movement away from the ball, and they end up out at the ring. Force you scramble, and they've still got the help stepping in. It's literally, they play five-man basketball the whole time. Offensively and defensively, it's about the team and what Coach Bunky's put on the floor, and there's a documentary waiting to be written about this story.
Absolutely, I'll be watching it 100%. Žagas.
An Olympic medal would help.
Yeah, absolutely. Staltic. Oh, there's a 3 of his own.
Strelnieks is just a scorer. Well, they're all scorers when they've got their feet set. But again, this is what Coach Gidget was talking about. If you allow them to run and execute in their tempo, they are just a different level.
Thomason now, beautiful move.
Need a lot more of Thomason.
Absolutely right. Thomason with the 4 points for the game so far.
Just run some action, try and give him a little advantage on the catch like they did on that time, whether it's a pin down or any type of screen that gives him some action, and he's very effective.
Oh, hang on, there's a bit going on here between Schmitz and Bitadze. We mentioned this game was physical, now it's getting verbal.
Bitatse's been very frustrating. He was frustrated with Coach when he came into the last time out. Coach is going to take him out. Sometimes it's have a word and then let's work it out.
Third foul for Bitatse. That's not what Coach Djikic wanted.
So they've called a technical both ways, I think.
Yeah.
Second personal foul, and then in charge of number
That's the right call.
Technical foul.
Because we saw it start after the last, on the last baseline. And you can... Bitatse has been a very frustrated player way before the last time out.
There's confirmation. Smits with the technical foul there.
His team need him. He cannot pick up fouls. He's got to play, and it's different ways to deal with things.
Matus. Beautiful. This is stunning shooting at the moment from Latvia. They've really turned it around. Practice games, they were rusty. First period, they were rusty, but now they're finding their rhythm. Thomason. Again, bodies hit the floor. Bitatse on the bench looking very frustrated. Georgia as a whole looking really frustrated. You can see the replay here. A bit of a nudge there from Schmitz. Bitatse gives him some back. And then it's on.
They were just looking for dinner reservations.
Yeah, they were just talking, they were just wishing each other all the best in the tournament. You know.
He was asking Smits, you know, you're local, you know, do you know anywhere I should, you know, on my day off where I could go?
Yeah. Where can I go for a post-game feed, you know?
Exactly.
I'm sure it was very, very generous.
Rose Smits never backs. It's not in his nature.
Again, these missed free throws not helping Georgia's case at all.
Well, when you're down 13 and you've shot 3 for 7, there's an easy way to get into single digits. Start making your free throws. The great news is they've been fouled that often, but 4 from 11 is not really going to help.
4 team fouls for Georgia, 5 for Latvia. Chagas. Quick move, and he gets fouled on the approach.
And again, you see all that movement, and once you engage the defense, because they guard you, opens it up at the point. It's one of those scenarios where, like, because basketball being a game that's supposed to be about passing the ball and sharing the ball, they do everything that's in the coaching manual. And they've got one of the best in the business at really bringing the best out of the group in Luka Banki.
He's been such a revelation for this team. I mean, that World Cup run, we talked about for decades and decades. It is just remarkable. They really came from the clouds to, and they were really that one. Bertans missed 3, you mentioned.
Away from beating the World Cup world champions. It's
what a story, yeah. Can they continue it here? Can they reach their first Olympics in 88 years? Last time they were there, 1936. They're looking the goods right now. Matus with the rebound. Straltic has looked hot so far. Chagas. Schmitz, the second time round, pops it back in. It's just team first basketball. Everybody gets a touch.
Everybody works for each other. That's the great. Banki wasn't happy with this layup. I think he let Chagas know in no uncertain terms. But that's, again, the accountability.
Ochkikidze has a look. Can't knock it down. Lomash. Thomason. That's solid work by Joe Thomason. And again, Smits has something to say about it. He really isn't backing down, as you mentioned, but a timeout's going to be called. Either way, Georgia down 22 to 39. Just over 2 minutes left in this second period. screen. We haven't seen him for the whole game, and even he's chatting to the referee. It's all on. A lot to play out in this game. A bit of frustration from Georgia. Let's see what Coach Djikic has to say.
See, I actually haven't seen anything that okay, the Schmitz and Tadze little exchange of ideas is one thing. But everything else, it's a physical game, yes. No match on the last penetration, just went somewhere there was no space. You can't call the foul on Thomason for that. He was entitled to that space, but it wasn't anything to get excited about. And everyone's excited up here. So it's a physical game. Latvia moved the ball quickly, creates situations where there's penetration. Referees have got it under control. Just play the game. And there's been some great stuff since Latvia started moving the basketball.
Both teams in the bonus now. Mamukalashvili, that's not going to help. He's had to be the man, and it feels like he's felt the pressure of it, and it's got to him. It's got in his head. Hasn't really embraced that role with Shengelia on the bench. Still time, but not looking good. Jagas. Chavas. Taking their time in this set. Jagas eventually makes a move and knocks it down.
Like Thomason shot the passing lane really hard on that, but then Lonarete just gapped and filled the middle. And then you go, well, okay. But then he gave up the layup. So it's the absolute opposite to the way Latvia are playing their defense.
Londaridze can't knock that one down. It's becoming ugly, 24-9 already in this second period, and it's in the hands of Lomash. Manis throws it down. And we'll show that replay very quickly because Manis owned that. Something to get the crowd excited about, as if they weren't excited already.
No, they didn't need anything to get more excited.
Good boards by Londaridze there. Going up against Chavas, and he's able to pop down a basket of his own.
I mean, Georgia don't look like they're in the frame of mind to do this, but the way to work your way back in, we're only at halftime, possession at a time. Get a stop, get a score, get a stop, and just try and eat into the lead to make it manageable. At the moment, it's not manageable.
Haven't hit a three so far this game, Georgia. Is that the answer? I don't know. Jagas.
Well, it's definitely an option.
Yeah.
You know, and we said earlier on, if they could just perhaps set a screen for Thomason to come off, to give him advantage, to get a screen, to get We've seen them practice. They've got guys who can shoot the basketball. They've got guys who can really knock the thing down from three. But they're not doing anything for each other, and you've got to credit the Latvian defense with actually switching into passing lanes and bumping cuts. But carrying on doing, one thing guaranteed is that they carry on doing what they're doing, they're going to get beat and beat badly. So half-time can't come quick enough for Coach Djikic. Latvia are going to take the time out. They've got another possession here.
It's going to make it a bit longer for him, the wait now.
Could make this a 20-point game. That's what Coach Banky's going to want to do. He's not going to let up.
Ruthless that he's going to guide his team here. Let's have a listen.
Un tā kā ir vienkārši jātatās un jābauda basketbola svētki, dārgie draugi. Tā kā tiešām ķiksimies tur uzreiz pēc spēles, bet, protams, darbs vēl nav pabeigts šeit. Ir jāizdara viss, kā šeit arēnā Rīga. Un savukārt grib izstāstīt puslaikā pēc šīs ceturtdaļas šeit pat uz laukuma norisināsies Samsung aktivitāte, kurā divi dalībnieki. Un viens no viņiem uzreiz iegūs Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus vietālruni, vārana bāla, ārāns uzdevums. Tāds būs uzdevums. Viņam būs jādriblē un jārasta īsti.
As you mentioned, it's been a physical game all throughout. Ondanice and Chavez going up against it now. We saw Schmitz and Bitatse earlier on. The bigs are having battles all around the floor. And we're going to see what Coach Bunky does out of the timeout now. What's his plan? He's going to want to put the foot on the throat here.
Well, we watched him in practice run these out of bounds, and he runs a beautiful stagger followed by another stagger screen, which results in a roller or just an open look.
Look how much space they have to work with. It's locked up a bit now. Down to 5. Lomash. Schmitz! How easy is that?
Roland Schmitz never stops working. Gets the easy two just because he never stops working. No body on him at all on the glass. Georgia are going to have a very serious conversation in that locker room about how they're going to... It's not about necessarily getting back to win, but getting out of this game in a positive frame of mind to win the next game, to get to a semi-final. And if Shengelia is healthy, they're a different team.
At halftime, it's Latvia 45, leading Georgia 24. And look at the percentages now for Latvia. What a dramatic turn of events. 53% from two-point range, 42% from three-point range. Dominating. Look at the assists, 11 to 2. That tells the whole story, really.
Absolutely tells you the whole story. And you made the point, could Georgia shoot more threes? They've only taken 4. They keep taking it inside and getting nothing out of it. Keep doing the same, you end up with the same. So they've got to make a decision at the half-time. How are they going to face the prospects of this second half? Because at the moment, it's not a great prospect for them. Not just for today, but for the rest of this tournament. You've got to get to the semi-finals. We saw, as we look at the key players, because there's no Shengelia, Mamukashvili was good at the beginning, and he just ran out of options. Bertans went 0 for 3, then's gone 3 for 3. He is a spark. He really did spark them.
Mamukashvili struggled, really. It's, like we said, he was sort of the main man without Shengelia out there, and he couldn't quite capitalize. But Latvia, what a turn of events, outscoring Georgia 28 points to 11. They put the foot on the throat. They didn't look back. And everyone had a go. You saw their top scorers. No one's in double digits. Everyone's got on the score sheet. Everyone except for Timmer and Zoric. And Zoric hasn't hit the floor yet, so they're sharing it around already.
And Timmer's had a few minutes because he picked up the second foul. So.
Exactly, yeah.
But you saw in that last clip, that was Bertans. He's a world-renowned three-point shooter. There was no player within 10 feet of him when he caught the ball. So again, there's no player. And there's a scouting report that says this is what he does. Even if they need it, it's not as if it'll be a surprise to them. And they have not and now we're going to sound wise after the event now. We saw them practice and said they didn't really look on the same page. And obviously the Shengelia injury is a distraction. Now, like Coach Gigic in the halftime, if he gets into them a little bit about how they've got to do things better, we've got to set some objectives. It's not really his style, but then they'll still get something out of the game. And then if they get back into the game after the third quarter, then they're in it again. But they've just got to work as a group to get back in. If they don't work as a group, they can find them. They lost to the Cameroon in preparation, so they could, then they've got to beat the Philippines in the second game to get to the semi. They don't want to leave themselves in a bad place at all.
That sums things up at halftime. It's Latvia 45 leading Georgia 24. We're going to take a quick break and see you for more action on the other side of this.
Education, health, justice. We sometimes take these simple things for granted. they're not common for all of us. We are all born on the same planet, but not with the same opportunities.
Whatever our gender, color, belief, or capability, we are one. We are all on the same team. Let's convince those who never thought they'd do it that they can. We can. Together, we are stronger. No matter your origin, basketball can bring everyone together. Basketball for good.
Nice play, Fox play kick. Gabriel and the king of South Sudan again with the rim rocker. Juba Airlines one more time.
Schroeder gets in, he goes fast. I don't think they were ready for that. And the blinding speed of Dennis Schroeder.
Holding on, he'll give it to his buddy. What a knob! Hey, remember the name. Doncic hits Horvat. No, it's blocked. Exum there on the read. Mills, extra pass, gives it to the guy with the big block.
Well, he does it with the spectacular save at one end, and then trailing down, Patty Mills finds him for the two-hand stuff.
Petrusev gets in for the dunk. What a great move. Shea turns. Alexander Walker goes in for the rim rocker. Schroeder goes downhill, gets it to the corner. Franz Wagner gets in. A little bit of elevation. Oh, Cressida, what are you doing? And the alley-oop! And Banchero this time does not lay it up. He scores right at the end of the third quarter buzzer.
What do you call this?
Between the legs, alley-oop pass.
Yes! I love it, Jeff. Yes!
I'm sure you can have something better.
Vlade Bogdanovic, turnaround, quick shot, takes it. Bogdanovic, Troika, Troika, Troika. Well, coach, it may be Troika time. He's made the three-pointer. Then going into the halftime break with a 2-point lead.
Oh, a good miss. The USA got it. Bridges from the corner. You have got to be kidding me. Unbelievable. A play for the ages at the FIBA Basketball World Cup. Bridges does the unthinkable. Ties the game. 0.2 seconds left.
That is unbelievable.
These guys will be legends in their own country, but also in the international basketball world forever.
Welcome back to Riga in Latvia. Stavros Bertans is the top scorer for the home team at this point. 9 points, 3 from 6. They're leading Georgia by 21 points at halftime. And look at those made shots on the scoring chart, Mark. That just tells you what type of player he is.
And the other thing about it is we've seen him run that pick pop or the spot to the corner. We're seeing it, the Georgian defense is not reacting to it. And you've got to say that Mamoukelashvili, in the beginning of the game, was the only player who really did try to be the aggressor, tried to take it to the basket, tried to finish plays. But as the course of the half went on, he got frustrated. And that's what Latvian defense does. It takes you out of what you want to run. There is never an easy moment on the floor because there's no let up with the pressure, there's no let up with the scramble, and you have to make great shots unless you move for each other. And Georgia are just not moving for each other. They're not setting very many screens for each other. And it's a long day at the office for the Georgian national team at the moment. And Mamoukelashvili has got to get back to where he was at the beginning of the game just to get some momentum in this third quarter.
I think that shot at the end where Schmitz popped it in at the end, I think that just sums it up. There was just, how could he be free right under the rim with 1 second to go, you know?
Well, we can be basic and cruel about it in some ways or just analyze it. And he worked, he moved, and no one on defense did. And this isn't about how good or bad, if Shangelia is out or anything else. Latvia are just on top of playing better. They're working that much harder. And it's hard. It's not easy to get yourself in this hole because you come into this, you're one of the best teams in the world, you're in an Olympic qualifier, and at the moment you're just getting beaten like a drum. You're down 21, and it's not as if you're losing in a way that you weren't expecting to. Because we heard the discussion with coaching the team before at the end of their practice. We've seen how they're going to deal with it. They say they're going to deal with it, and they're just not doing it. And it's not, for me, coming back from 21, teams do it. It's more about how they come out of the game. If they come out of this game badly, if you're the other team in this group, you're looking at this guy, hey, we have a chance now. They're going to come out of this beaten up. The only saving grace for them is they have another day because it's Latvia to play tomorrow. So, you know, it's a really difficult situation for Coach Gigic. Puts a lot of pressure on him, but that's why he's paid his money to do it. And he's not as if he's not faced this type of situation before. He's a very experienced coach. He'll have solutions. He's just got to find the right one. He needs one of his guys to step up. He needs one or two of his leaders to actually stand up and say, hey, this is not happening anymore. As we look at these Latvians, Zagars is always going to have assists. He just loves sharing the basketball like the whole team does. But what a great team it must be to play with.
Absolutely, everyone's getting a go on the score sheet. The assist, as we saw before the break, dominating 11-2. That is the definition of sharing the ball around. And you know, we see Bertans is the leading scorer, but there's so many other people that have contributed. You know, not too far off is Maidus with the 7 points, and not too far off again Chavas with their 5 points. And then, of course, the 8 points for Schmitz. He's been a really key part of this game. So everyone's had a go.
And he's a great example, isn't he? That they spread the floor. So Roland Schmitz, so I say, very strong, very experienced. Not your biggest big man in the world. But because he's got space to play and go to work on the inside, he's so effective that everybody understands their role in this team. Everybody knows what they're supposed to do for each other, and they're happy doing it. If Georgia gets to the point of being happy helping each other, this will become a better game, and they'll be in a better place. This is a team that's been in the World Cup. This is a team, it's one-on-one, and it's qualified. This is just a very, very strong basketball team. Just happens to have one guy down. Well, Latvia have one guy down. They have 2 guys down, whatever it is. No Porzingis. No Grazulis. Grazulis was their leading scorer in the World Cup. Someone else has just stepped into the role. And as we'll have to find out, maybe we'll ask at the press conference, but Zorix hasn't played. Now that's not because Bunky doesn't like him.
Yeah.
That's maybe, I don't need to play him. He's carrying something. But every fan in this gym feels connected to this group because of the way they play.
And like we said at the start of the game, they've been waiting to welcome their team back home. They all watched on They travelled, some of them, to Jakarta, that's for sure, but a lot watched on from the TV and supported their team from the couch, and now they get the chance to welcome them home and potentially send them to their first Olympics in nearly 90 years. So what a story it would be.
And everyone knows that. Let's take a listen to Coach Banky.
Stay solid, safe, it's about you. You know what to do. We see two, but we play like this. When you catch the ball, you will screen out.
Scan the QR code on your screen right now. You can download the Courtside 1891 app. You can get the latest news, highlights, videos, everything you need. Not just from here, but from all the other Olympic qualifying tournaments around the world. Action in Greece and Spain and Puerto Rico. 4 Olympic qualifying tournaments, 4 tickets to Paris. 1 on offer here in Riga. Latvia right now is turning themselves as the favourites against a Georgia team that's lacking a bit of energy at the moment. But the game is far from over. We know that momentum swings are very prominent in basketball and in world sport really, so they won't count their chances out. Coach Jikic would have had a lot to say at halftime, that's for sure.
Well, you hope so. Or maybe not. Maybe you let the guys say what they felt, because they won't be happy themselves.
So second half tipping off here at Arena Riga in the capital city of Latvia. And it is the home team, 45, leading Georgia 24. A lot of work to do for this Georgian team. And that's not the start they would have wanted. Mama Kulashvili still can't get his hands on the ball. Jargas, Matus, who got that steal at the defensive end. Schmitz, he's had a fantastic game. And now he's become the leading scorer.
Once he recognized there was no help, just made a really solid post move, sent the guy up to the middle, went back to the baseline. Just looked, saw no help, and you can't help if you help. Just pass to the wide open shooter.
Vitatse again getting tangled. He thanks the referee for the whistle. We saw him earlier in the first half get a bit frustrated.
Yep.
Had to get dragged.
And the great thing for him is you want to see him get frustrated. You don't want to see him just lay down, and he's just got to deal with it in the right way. And you know, he's 25 now, he's in the NBA, he's got to understand how to deal with the situation.
Androni Kashvili, Thomason. Vitatse making an impact on the offensive end, that's better.
Yep.
Speaking of impact, here's Roland Schmitz. Matus, they're sharing it around again. Everyone's touched it. Schmitz, too hot to handle.
Looked like he wasn't sure if he was going to pass or shoot it. In the end, did neither.
Mama Kulashvili now, he needs to shoot it. Gives it to Vitatse and then gets it back. And it gets taken away from him again. So subs coming into the game. And it was great hands there by Bertans. Just anticipated what he was going to do. And that's what it's been like really the whole game. They just anticipated what Georgia's going to be able to do. They've got answers for everything. So just waiting on a Georgia sub now. And Mama Kulashvili is going to come off. Very interesting.
Not looking happy about coming off either.
No high fives, really.
No.
Not reluctant at least, high fives. Just doesn't seem to be clicking in that camp right now. Jagas. Matus. Jagas again. Oh, and that's better from Androni Kashvili on the break. Makes no mistake.
It's a long, long way back, but there you go. A little bit of intensity, a little bit of a reach to get the possession. Now to get another stop, they start eating into it, get it under 20, then look to get it under 15.
And the crowd getting behind their team.
Right.
Rare error there.
Back-to-back stops. This is when if you want to see that group on the bench get up and get into the fact they've got 2 stops. You want to see them trying to work, just build some momentum.
When you're a coach, coaches always say this, it always starts on the defensive end. So if they can get that stop, if they can just prevent a little bit of scoring, then it might turn. Thomason tries to go under, but that didn't work. And here's Bertans free on his own, and he's happy to kiss it off the glass and bank it in.
And that whole possession, Thomason had it, no one moved, and he had to make a tough one, which he couldn't do.
Bitadze finds himself 3, and that's their first triple of the game.
That's a little bit Latvia, right? Penetrate, kick to the open man. He moved and extended the floor.
Kalashvili getting ready to come back on. But Schmitz for Latvia now, backing down on Bitadze. It's good defense from Bitadze. And again, they're getting a few stops now.
Well, they've already got it under 20, so.
Sanadze. Not quite the shot he would have wanted to make. Kalashvili, oh, he does want to re-enter the court, but they're holding him back at the moment. So again, that physicality coming back into the game. Kalashvili still arguing, still in disbelief. Bitadze speaking to Coach Djikic now as well. Thomason, Kalashvili, Bitadze. And again, it just gets stripped away.
There's no help on that play. He's got to catch it and go. Catch it, read the defense, make a move. It's going to be tough to stop down that deep.
Strohanek's back on the floor. Matus out on the approach.
Great recognition. Georgia switched. They had Thomason down low, and they I don't have a great pass. I'll pass it away from the defense. He's going to catch it.
So 49 plays 31. That's Thomason's second foul. Matus shares it with Strelnieks. To Bertans. Schmitz. Matus. Bucket.
Just moved the ball. 4 guys touched it. Get it right to the ring. It's a joy. It's a joy to watch this team play basketball.
Bitadze now for Georgia. Kalashvili still can't find his rhythm. And there was a foul called in amongst all that.
And again, Thomason just tried to get to the glass. He was never going to get it because he tried. Bertans hits him, boxes him, tries to box him out. They get the foul. Put yourself in the right positions, try and make things happen.
Just like that, the margin back out to 20. Just about to hit the halfway mark of the third period. Thomason. Shot clock down to 2. Andronikashvili just has to go for it. It's not going to work out for them. Again, the pressure from Latvia is immense. Strelnick's now starting things on the offensive end.
I mean, coaches talk about being relentless. This team actually is. There isn't a possession that they take off.
Puruts in space. Couldn't knock it down. Sanadze to Andronikashvili. Getting around Strelnick's and Mamukulashvili, I should say. Finally gets a bucket to his name. First since the first period. Strelnick's gets it from Bertans, who gets knocked out off the play. Well, not sorry, knocked out, but definitely knocked over.
I hope we get a replay because the execution was so good by Bertans. Thomason just got hung out, he got nowhere to go, and in the end it was either get hit or he had to hit Bertans. And the timing and the execution to come off the screen and then go back. When you allow them to get into that rhythm, they're very, very difficult to take out of what they're running.
3 fouls now for Thomason, a concern for Coach Djikic. He's the one player we spoke about at the start. He's the one who needed to stand up, and Mamukulashvili, and neither really have been able to fire.
But now, it's understandable if still unacceptable. Their frustration now, they'll take it out on the official, they'll take it out on each other. This is where it's not about the technical side of coaching for Coach Djikic. It's about trying to make his group deal with this better because he has a huge game after a day off.
Up against the Philippines. Schmitz. Thomason with the boards. Bertans commits the foul.
Just took one for the team, didn't he? Didn't quite like the numbers behind him, so.
And that's be the theme of the game, taking one for the team, whether it's fouls, whether it's assists, whether it's sacrificing a basket. That's the epitome of how they play. So Bertans and Thomason trying to get things going. Ojkikidze on the floor for Georgia now too. But they're just looking a bit stagnant at the moment. Mamukulashvili thought about the 3 and then went inboard.
They really have ways that they can hurt you. They just have to focus on that. It's a seriously good first step. Gets to the middle, finishes it at the ring.
Got a wave going around the stadium at the moment. Love it. The atmosphere is incredible. It really is. Now Thomason hits the deck. Davis Bertans committing the foul there.
Right, they're going to stop now. And then all of a sudden it's a 13-point game. They can make the 3 or make the 2, 13 or 14-point game. 3 minutes still to go in the quarter. They've got a chance to get it to 10.
So they're going to just take a little pause in the game. So it gives, importantly, Coach Djikic a chance to have a little chat. There's been a lot of chatter with the referees, I tell you what. And eventually they're going to resume things with Ojkikidze from the sideline.
Moment of fame time, got to dry the floor. So let's just take a positive now for Georgia. They score, let's just take the 2, get a stop. All of a sudden you're looking at a 12-point game. If you'd have got deep in the 3rd and it was a 12-point game, anyway you'd say they're still in it, but they've got some momentum building here. If they can just be tough in their execution at the defensive end and share it at the offensive end, they could get back in this. Nice pass.
Ojkikidze finishes it off.
Lukavanki's seen enough, I think, is the phrase. And you know this is going to be a pretty intense timeout because this is the only way he does things. Again, it's about the accountability he's going to hold this team to. Be a good listen.
Control the rebound. Control the 50-50 ball. We start playing soft. Stay in the game. Stay in the block. Okay? First offense. Each is pop. Each is pop. Okay? Don't put the pressure on the angle. Okay, guys?
Well, you said it'd be intense and it'd be animated, and that's exactly what it was.
Yeah. And we always say it's a very intense place, the huddle. Sometimes if the language gets a little bit, it's an apology, but he's got two things on his mind now. One is he's not happy with how they're playing, but he doesn't want to let them relax too much. It's about habits and accountability for him. So what are you doing? I got another 7 guys here who want to play. Let's get back to what we're doing.
Let's see how they respond to Coach Bunky's address. Pullins back onto the floor. Lomash out there too. Georgia ball.
Big stop for Georgia. You know, out of the timeout, they get the stop. They've got a chance to keep that momentum going.
And Coach Bunky warned them. He's going to make a change. Zoltic coming on now. And he was really good when he came on in his last bit of minutes. 2 quick baskets, so we know what he can do. Mamukalashvili into Badatse. Sanadze now. That one won't drop.
Not the best option you could have taken. There's 3 guys ahead of it in terms of players that have been scoring recently.
Bertans, oh, Badatse rose with him. Said not today. Lomash now, they still have it. That's the beauty of Latvia. And again, a 3rd shot at it. Matus with the mismatch. Oshkikita does a good job.
And that kills you. You've got momentum, you deal with the first one after the timeout. You take a poor shot, you're in charge, you're in control of that shot, you take a poor one. You have 3 chances to get a defensive rebound and you don't. This team is, at its core, there needs to be that toughness that says every possession we're going to do what we need to do. And they can be as frustrated with the coaches as with the referees or whatever. They took the bad shot, they gave up the 3 offensive rebounds. They've still got a chance to get back, still only 16 points.
And of course, the positive that they take out of that is Latvia had 3 chances there and couldn't convert. And Mamukalashvili on the opposite end gets it to go. He stepped up in this last 5 minutes, I'd say. Up to 11 points now, Mamukalashvili. Lomash. Chavas into the game. Gets around 2 Georgian bigs. Ends a bit of a run there for Georgia. They've got a minute to try and cut back as much of the margin as they can. Thomason, Corsantia. Glides through the paint.
Different team in this quarter with the ball, but not every time. They've got to be the different team on every possession. Beautiful movement away from it. Easy pass to get the easy 2.
They've outscored Latvia 17 points to 10, so it's been a much better performance. But Bertans
called it offensive.
Oh, an offensive foul, right.
Chance to get it to 12, chance to get it to 11. And you know what will happen to get it to single digits? The crowd will get a little edgy. And I am one of those people that thinks you can't decide when not to play hard. If you let it slip, it's very difficult to pick it up again, and that's where Latvia could find themselves.
Coach Bunky turns to Artur Žagas. This last 30 seconds of the third period. Chavas with his second foul. Ojkikidze. Big set here for Georgia. Doesn't quite find Korsantia. It's frustrating. Had a really good period. They want to finish it off. And now they give Latvia a chance to get the momentum. Žagas gets fouled.
Foul. You know, it's only 8.6. They had a foul to give.
The last thing they would have wanted is what happened at halftime, was where Schmitz was free at the bottom of the rim.
In this moment, Latvia will get a shot. There's no doubt they'll get a shot. They want to make that a tough one, and they want to make sure they box out. There's no offensive putback. But you wouldn't bet against Latvia on the sideline with 8.6 to go to get a shot.
Oh, that is beautiful. Gets it out to Stratic. That is Latvia basketball to a T.
That's just such good execution by Latvia. But you got to question that you get beat on just a pick and a roll back to the ball.
Glorious shot from Stratic.
All day and tomorrow night to release it.
So at the end of the third quarter, Latvia still holding a strong lead, 58, to 41.
And these stats are going to be a little better for Georgia, and we talked about they still only made the 1 for 9, but we talked about the two objectives. One, try to get back in the game. Two, make sure you are better. They are better, but they just keep hurting themselves. And against a team like Latvia, they will make you pay. As the fans here celebrate. Let's take a look at the best plays of the third quarter, where Roland Smits went to work early, and no one more than Roland Smits epitomises this Latvian team. Does it all at a work rate, both ends of the floor, and so does everybody else.
But it was a positive quarter for Georgia. I know they're still not leading, but outscored them 17 points to 13. They'd be super happy with that, but not happy in how the game's turned, because even in saying that, they still won the quarter, but they still could have done a bit better on the offensive end, and they still could have hustled a bit harder defensively as well.
Well, it's like the last 30 seconds or so, they had the ball, and it was 17-10 on the quarter. They got it, and they had the ball, and turned it over. Then they smartly fouled, and they gave up a wide-open shot. So the offensive putback and the wide-open look is 5 points at the end of each quarter. You take those off, and we've got a 12-point game without doing anything else. So they're hurting themselves still, but you got to hope they really focus on the positives in terms of that was a better quarter. Let's see if we can get this under 10, then we're in the game.
Download the courtside 1891 app, the QR code on your screen now for you. Watch all the Olympic qualifying tournament action as the fourth quarter tips off here in Riga, Latvia's capital city. Beaming with fans, loving what they're seeing from the home team. And again, it rolls in. Žagas gets them going.
Same play they ran at the start of the third quarter where they got to the ring. It's movement away from the ball just creates so much space to attack, so much space to penetrate into.
Jincharadze starting this fourth period. Ojkikidze, that's a good look from Georgi Ojkikidze. They need more of that. Second three of the game. 5th point for Ojkikidze. Lomash now, Stratic. has Sanadze to go up against Roland Schmitz. Mamukulashvili happy to grab that. What does he do here? Sandra Mamukulashvili goes upstairs and slams it down. And silences the crowd as well. That's what they need more of. Sandra Mamukulashvili through the legs and then slams it. You know he's in the NBA for a reason. Of course, playing with San Antonio at the moment. Tons of experience with the Bucks. Went to college in the US as well. He completes the three-point play here. So Jargas and Lomash both suffered knee injuries recently, but have recovered really well in time for this tournament. That's uncharacteristic.
But again, how much more active were they at that at the defensive end? There was people in the passing lane. They didn't let Bertans catch the basketball. Force them to make a play as opposed to give them options.
Just been handed the attendance as well. Confirmed 8,955 people here at Arena Riga. The crowd's been up and about all game. No doubt we'll see crowds like this throughout the tournament for Latvia. But what an awesome result that is on night one. A sellout crowd, Mark. It's been amazing.
And they're getting what they want at the moment.
Schmitz. And Georgia get the crucial rebound somehow. Mamukulashvili looking to push the pace. Schmitz commits the foul. Probably smart in the end. You don't want Mamukulashvili to get off the leash.
Oh, exactly. And they've had back-to-back scores through him. And it's just, again, Smith's taking one for the team. Now Bidzadze's going to come in, but they're going to take out Gelashvili.
Interesting.
Hopefully not for long.
Yeah. 14 points, 4 rebounds. Mamukulashvili gives a big roll for Bidzadze, but they can't quite work it out. Streltic. Oshkikidze gets it his way. Not much he could do in that situation. Streltic has done a good job in his limited minutes as well.
Always,
8 points.
Always impact.
Yep.
And I think that the key thing about the guys coming in is they always give impact because they know they've got to come in. They've got their 5 minutes where they're going to have to play hard.
And Strelton hasn't actually missed 3 from 3 from the field. So it's pretty good. Here he is at the free throw line. He's got 3 rebounds to go with that stat line as well.
Yeah, in his own walk, he was in the World Cup. He played 11 minutes. You know, in those 11 minutes per game, he would have done what he's done here. Played hard at the defensive end. If I'm open, he's going to shoot it. That's my role, I'm going to do it. The acceptance of that is it's a testimony to the guys, but also a testimony to Coach Funky.
Schmitz and Strelton, the only ones in double figures, just the 10 points. You've got 9 from Meodis, 9 from Davis Bertans. You've got 7 from Chavas. Still haven't seen Zonix. That's okay. And he's in Coach Bunky's mind. 1 more game to come in this round robin. Perhaps saving the legs. Of course, haven't seen Shengelia all game for Georgia. Sense there's a bit of an injury there. We'll find out. Hopefully tonight or tomorrow. So 62 plays 47 at the moment. Sanadze's going to come into the game. Jincharadze will take a seat. I think Mamukulashvili wants back in as well. And he will get in. As we mentioned, not a long rest for him. He has to play out those remaining 7 minutes, you probably think. unless the game's gone past them.
Well, this lineup is the lineup that has to get it to 10 and under. You know, Bitadze with Thomason, with Melashvili in the game together. Those three have really got to try and get them over the hump for double digits.
Thomason driving. Somehow it ends back up with Georgia.
Yeah, it's a 24 violation.
Shot clock, yeah, the shot clock expired, yep. So good defense by Latvia, we've been saying it throughout the game. The refs might double check this, just to make absolute sure. The refs have had a lot to deal with this game. There's been a lot of chatter from players and coaches. Coach Jikic on screen. Just wondering what's happening here.
I can only think that they believe that there may have been a change of possession. That's what they're talking about. And I think they're going to give the ball back to Georgia, so that's what they must have seen.
So Androni Kashvili from the sideline there, a good chance for them here. They've got a little bonus.
It's offensive.
Oh. It's so frustrating. That's the chances you want to take. Now that Thomason didn't need to give, I think that'll be his fourth, if I'm not mistaken. We'll get confirmation of that.
And as soon as you see him throw his hands straight and there's a little contact, the official has to call it. And again, it's something else that Georgia are in control of. And they made a bad decision again.
So yeah, 4 fouls for Thomason. Still 7 minutes left to go. You mentioned that's the side that needs to stay in, but now Thomason's in foul trouble. He's still out there, but...
It's one of those things that in this situation you leave him in because what are you saving him for? But they had Jaguars with nowhere to go then, and he got people in the air and they fouled him. He was on the free throw line, which they dodged that bullet and he misses that. I mean, he's a 78% free throw shooter. So the bonus of him missing it, they've got to, again, take every opportunity they've got. They're down 15 with this one to come, make that 16. But it's not a done deal by any means. Just need to string together. Shengelia on the bike, surely not.
Oh, that would be great if he could. The definition of needing a prayer. Kalashvili loses it. Not taking their chances. They've done so well to get them, they just can't convert. And Streltic on the other end, that hurts them. But boy, is it sweet for Latvia.
Wide open again, he's knocked it down, he's still on 100%.
13 points for Artur Streltic. Thomason and Bitadze as well out there with the 4 fouls for Georgia. Sanadze, Androni Kashvili, not to be. Jagas now. And again, the basket falls for Latvia. And no doubt, Georgia need a timeout. Great move by Jagas. Be one of the really unselfish ones out there.
And now you're going to get to the point where the tiredness of those major minutes for Bitadze and Manu Kalashvili is going to really kick in. They're two most productive options. And the options that might are giving them the chance are now at the wrong end of how bad they feel. And they were only down, don't forget, 13 with the ball. And it's opened out again to a 21-point game. And obviously we're hoping that there's a game and they come back in it. It's a really difficult job now for Coach Jikic. What does he do? He's 21 down, 6 minutes to go. How long does he say, okay, we'll give it a go, but once we get to this point, I'm just going to have to save these guys. I suppose the one saving grace for him is he gets tomorrow off.
Yes.
So he does have a day recovery.
And how important is that for Shengelia as well? I mean, we know he might be carrying something.
Another 24 hours is at this stage, I mean, because we've seen them as a group. He's taken partial part in practice, and people were saying to whatever people were saying he was going to play and everything else. And it's a very, very, we don't know the details of the injury. Maybe he'll get asked in the press conference, but unfortunately he'll say it's with the doctors, and we won't probably find out. But
Thomason loses it. Chagas. Can he get back-to-back buckets, perhaps? Bertans couldn't quite find Meredith. So 68 plays 47, 5.5 minutes left in this game. Coach Bunky making sure his team stays focused. It's a handy buffer, but it could turn at any minute. Andrei Kashvili, Thomason, Bitatse, Mamu Kalashvili. Straltic was there to meet him.
Absolutely zero let up. One time out from Coach Bunky saying, this is not us. And from that point on, they just reverted back to normal.
And that's the thing with these timeouts. They haven't been too tactical. It's more just about inspiring energy and belief in his team. His team knows what to do. He's just going to guide them. Whereas it's the opposite story for Georgia and Coach Chikic. He has to be tactical. He's doing the teaching phase with his team, I think.
They just haven't found the answer, have they? At any stage, they had that period in this third quarter here, early in the third quarter and the fourth quarter where they've been close to getting into 10. Just can't play every single possession in the same way that Latvia do.
Lomash. Oh, beautiful find to Meredith and waits and slams. Marnix Meredith joins the party.
If you are open on this basketball team, you get the basketball. There's no if, but, or maybe. You get it.
Thomason, Andrei Kashvili finds some space. Can't bank it in. Strelniks now. How much better can it get for Latvia? Lomash. He's got 10 seconds to work with on the shot clock. Gets some help from Meredith. Goes on his own, Lomash. Straltic still 100%, and he keeps that record going! Unbelievable game from Artur Straltic. 16 points, 5 from 5 from the field, including 4 triples. Thomason now can't respond. Sanadze puts the feet back and knocks it down. A deep triple from him.
Well, you've said a few times, haven't you, that it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter if it's your turn. They don't care who shoots the ball. You create an open look as they do for each other, then you have someone like Stoutons who has that 100% game.
Streltons with the 16 points, Madas with the 11, and we take a look at his efforts here, just steps back with all the confidence in the world and knocks it down. Artur Straltic. See Madas getting involved with the dunk there, the one-handed slam. That's all class from Marnik Madas. And now we see Giannis Timma get back into the game.
First time since the first quarter?
Yep, he was in that foul trouble, yeah.
Picked up the 2 quick fouls, and has to wait until the 37th minute to see the floor again.
It's not only ruthless playing, but ruthless coaching from Coach Bunky as well.
It is that word accountable. He uses it. It's about what we do for each. It's quite a... He really, apart from reminding him, he doesn't really have to challenge him that much. 25-point
lead now for Latvia. Just under 3 minutes left in this game. Oh, Schmitz sends Cincerazze packing. Great hands and great recognition by Roland Schmitz. Cincerazze was left with nowhere to go. And now it pass, Chavas is going to make his way back into the game. A good little step
everyone on the floor never looks at the sideline because they don't want to come out.
Pavadze on for some minutes. Ochkikidze and Schmitz claims the rebound. So they get the Philippines up next. They'll light their chances against that team as well. And if the crowd shows up as well as they have, it'll be another amazing spectacle. Strelnieks, again, they share it around, and Strelnieks gets involved. Right from beyond the arc. It's a game-high lead now. Crowd just getting louder and louder. Cincerazze, he makes the tough triple. That silences them for the time being. Ochkikidze nearly. Strelnieks, can he go back to back? Thinks about it. Finds Lomash at the top. Chavas. Backs down Londaridze. Draws the foul.
And again, the impact of how they play is just summed up by Chavas in that. Gets it in the block and no one can help because they're worried about the kick pitch to the shooter. So to keep everybody honest, he then says, I've got one-on-one, I've got enough in my locker, I can make a move, get fouled or scored. Challenges Georgia, what do I do now? Do we play one-on-one? Well, when they've played one-on-one the whole game, it's not really been productive. Do they have to get into a rotation? It's the honesty that the way that Latvia played it forces a defense to make decisions.
So just over 90 seconds left. 78 plays 53. And still Latvia not giving up. Schmitz and Lomash get things started once again. Strelnieks, a nice triple earlier on. Chavas again going up against Londaridze and again drawing the foul. This time a three-point play perhaps coming up if he can knock down the free throw.
He's just too big, too strong, couldn't hold his space. Same principle again though, no one can help because if they help, he will pass it. Keeping a team to 53 points is what Coach Banky will definitely bring up after this game. It's a defensive effort that's exceptional, and you can talk about how at times made some bad decisions, but it's Latvia's defense that set the tone.
Matos back on the floor. He's had a really solid game, 11 points. 5 from 5 for him as well from the field. Him and Strelton haven't missed. And the crowd getting up on their feet now. Under a minute to go. In appreciation for their home team. Ochkikidze, Cincerazze trying to combat this noise. They'll get another chance at it. Smiles there from Rihards Lomash, and why wouldn't you smile? Playing a great style of basketball. A first up win in front of their home fans. A game to come against the Philippines tomorrow night. Londaridze gets a little consolation bucket. And have a listen to this. Lomash trying to put the icing on the cake. Matos to Strelnieks. Shot clock goes all the way down to 3. Streltic hits the deck. Foul's called. That's Londonitsa's 4th. So a lot of work to do if you're Team Georgia. Philippines are no easy task.
You do have a day.
Yep, you do have a day.
And we'll try and get an update on the Shengelia story, but he'll make a huge difference if he can play in that game. They had a good look at the 2 of the other teams. They'll know everybody else. They have to treat this as a bad day at the office. One game does not decide this. Latvia can't qualify for Paris today, and Georgia are not out.
Tournament's far from over. But at the moment, the game's over, 83-55. The crowd continuing to get behind their team. Jincharadze, hard shot to put up. And it's a win for Latvia in their opening game of this Olympic qualifying tournament in front of their adoring home fans here in Riga, the capital city of Latvia. A clinical performance from the home team. And then the final score here at Arena Riga, Latvia 83, getting the victory over Georgia 55. And it was just a joy to watch.
Oh, they are a joy to watch. Any team that plays with that much togetherness and that tempo are a joy to watch. And it's anyone week in, game out will be the player that steps up and has the big game. Coach understands that, the team understand that, and the crowd relates to this team so well. They truly represent. So they're in a very positive place. They'll play tomorrow. They can secure their place in the semi-final and then have a day off to prepare. And they're on point. They're on the mission. The mission to qualify is alive and kicking. Tremendous performance. But the good thing, I think, for Coach Banky is there was moments in the game where he had to remind them. Because these guys have paid good money to watch his team play. He didn't want them to slack. And he knows there's going to be tougher games in the next few days, so he keeps them on task, and they are a joy to watch. It's the only way to describe them. And they are a team that has a real chance to make it to Paris.
Georgia, on the contrary, with a lot to think about. They've got a day to think about. They've got a day to think it over. They have to come back and play the Philippines. No easy task, of course. But Latvia are lapping it up, really. They're taking their home fans. And you can see in the game stats just how critical they were. 56% from two-point range, 41 from three-point range, 73 from free throws. It's excellent numbers.
Oh, just think back to that first quarter. They were at 30 and 20%. And obviously 20 assists is a number that every coach loves to see. Strelton's turned to be the top scorer at 18 points. It's always the team that's the most important thing for Latvia. Another win in the book. And they kick off a very pressurized campaign, but they'll they can be better, but they'll be happy with their first night and their first night of work in this tournament.
Absolutely, they'll head to the dressing room, a happy team. 3 players in double figures for them. Strelton's with 18, leading the way. As we take a look at the fourth quarter best plays, and it was Latvia's story to tell. They dominated the fourth period. After getting beaten in the third period, it must be said, Georgia came back and did a really good job, outscoring them 17-13, but then Latvia came back, outscored them 25-14. Luka Bunky was telling them to keep focused and keep their vision on the game, and they just responded in the best way possible. Everybody got involved. Of course, Strelton's led the way with those 18 points, but the stats around the field will tell a story of just how ruthless they were and how they didn't give up and how they held each other accountable as well.
No, that's the most important thing, is to keep a team to 55 points. And we're not talking about any team, we're talking about a team in the top 20 in the FIBA World Rankings. Okay, their superstar might have been missing, but so what as such. Tremendous defensive effort. They share it beautifully, and they're on task, and they're a dangerous team. They'll go away, they'll recover, they'll be ready for their next game.
So this is how the standings look in Group A. Latvia on top after that win, Georgia, and then the Philippines. We'll see them in action tomorrow against Latvia, and the confirmation of the result at the bottom, Latvia 83, getting the job done over Georgia 55. And that wraps things up here in Riga in Latvia for the second game of the Olympic qualifying tournament. It was Latvia claiming victory over Georgia by 28 points. We'll see you soon.